Sure, if given the opportunity, I would take the easy roads. But I clearly know through living life a little bit that easy roads don't really lead to fulfilling destinations most times. Although luck is part of the equation. See, I've done most things in my life a very hard way, the difficult way. From being a little kid growing up, nothing was ever handed to me. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon, you know. I didn't come from money. My father got Parkinson's at age 35. So, you could imagine what transpired since the diagnosis, and it just feels like yesterday. So, but this video is not about that. It's just to kind of give you a little bit of a backstory, as to why we become the way we become and why we choose some of the paths that we take. And it shapes us into our future selves and who we are today. And I had no choice but to embrace the difficult roads, the difficult path. I spent a lot of time in my life, many years, even well past my 40s. I'm nearly 50, but you know, um, your entire life can pass you by when you start. When you continue to blame other people, you could be stuck in that bubble for a lifetime, unless you embrace the quote unquote the winter arc, such as Q4 October, which I'm now walking in, and this is the last day of the month for October. So once again, I can't believe the year is almost over, and you know, something as simple as walking like this on a brisk, crisp, fall slash borderline winter season may be difficult for a lot of people. It may be really difficult. But the thing is that if you're like me, if this story resonates with you, then I'm sure you can relate that why I chose some of the difficult roads in my life. Some were just most were given to me and I had to walk it. What choice do you have than to walk it, right? My father getting sick, what choice did I have but to accept it? And even then, acceptance doesn't come until a lot later when they pass, when he passes. When he passed, even then, I've always struggled with the question, why? 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 But then you do have to focus on how life moves us forward. And for some people, it's easy, it depends on your goals. It depends on your aspirations and your dreams, your vision. What are those for you? And what are you willing to go through and walk through to get there, right? And in perspective, being the best version of yourself, no matter what age, but especially 40 and over, right? You kind of get to this point where you a make or break moment. Like you can go either way, a steep decline or a rise from the ashes moment. And I am one of the stories that's rising from the ashes. That's what I represent. Um, I've conquered most things that have come my way, despite the panic attacks, despite the anxiety attacks, despite the worrying personality that I have most times. Most people think I'm really calm and chill. I think I am, but I'm still human, right? Not everything I do, not every shot I make goes in the bucket. Basketball, basketball analogy, right? So, but this is an area of my life, self-improvement, that I take very, very seriously because um, it's difficult. It's not easy, and it's so easy to fall off track. All the gains that you make, you know, people will often see you as the final product, but they don't see the behind the scenes, right? And it's behind the scenes isn't lifting heavy weights and putting it down and training and running in the cold. That's all gravy and stuff. But I think the bigger problem is that a lot of people can get the simplest things, in perspective. And diet, nutrition is a big deal. It's really a big deal because these days, what we consume is probably more important than your training regimen. I would put nutrition up there as number one, up above, beyond anything. And that's, to me, is probably the hardest thing for most people, because if it were easy, we would just simply not put, junk in our mouth and poison in our bodies, right? And once I realized the power of doing the quote unquote difficult things, life became easier. So those difficult things could be drinking a gallon of water. It's about 16 cups, I believe. But I do more than that, because I'm my output, right? So you think about it, you dumb it down, right? Just make it really simple. Prioritize protein, drink a lot of water. Prioritize protein, drink a lot of water. And in the process, you'll shred. That's really it. That's really it. And eat at a deficit. Remain in a calorie deficit for as long as it takes to get to your desired goal. And for a lot of people, that's hard. While you're while you're at it and walking this difficult path, you know, a lot of people have setbacks where, and it's normal, where all that progress you've made, you destroy it by a massive slice of pizza, cheesecake, drinking excessively, not sleeping. Then it takes you 2 or 3 days to recover and rebound, right? So you are essentially a sum of your most, infamous habits and routine habits. We typically, the rubber band, right, the curve, it typically goes back to who we are or who we were. And so the fine line is when you're battling yourself and reverting back to those bad habits, right? That's difficult for a lot of people. So you see where I'm going with this is some of the most simplest things are difficult for a lot of people. And I embrace it. I embrace walking in the cold. I embrace taking 10,000 steps every single day. And most days it's hard. Most days it's not so hard. But I think the winter arc, especially in Q4, it's difficult for a lot of people. We are almost done with October here. This is October 31st. This is my last walk for the month, right? And as I'm walking, I have this immense sense of gratitude and, epiphanies and realizations that people who have lost in life to unfortunate circumstances, uh, some have been unlucky. And then, there's a passing of the torch in generations. Right now, I'm a Gen Xer. So I'm at the midpoint of my life and then some. Um, and I know the one thing I can control is showing up the way I do for us all, for you, for me, and to inspire. But I need you to show up for me too, because I want to see other people out there that are embracing some of these difficult roads and focusing on themselves, self-care, right? And do not neglect yourself. Don't look at food, nutrition as a dopamine hit or as a reward. On the occasion, yes, like we are Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, I get it. You are behind is because you have prolonged your calling. You are behind. You can't blame anyone else, your circumstances, your relationships, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your dog, your sister, your work. You are behind because you didn't make time for this very path, which is a difficult one. It's a come to Jesus. It's a sit down with your inner self that you need to have, especially at this time of the year. I'm already way ahead of the curve in terms of how I show up every year. And when come January 2025, everyone's like, new year, new resolution, new me, and all. I'm like, this is 365, baby. This is I talk about the winter arc in context, right? Because it's a good way to get people together to have them realize the fourth quarter is here. But really, this lifestyle is never ending. You're always carving yourself. It's like a painting, it's like an artwork, and it's difficult, right? Eating clean, as easy as it sounds, it's not simple. foregoing sugar, these things take time. Training your mind to like these things, but more importantly, training your mind to embrace the difficult roads that lead to greater destinations, and the prize, which is the best version of you, requires work, not physically, mentally. Because this is a mental transformation just as much as it's physical, spiritual, and it's tough. This path will reveal your demons, it'll bring back childhood memories. You are flushing out toxins. So, as much as you're shredding and shedding off dead weight, dead memories that no longer serve you, and they'll always be there, you're also, in the process, transforming into someone new. So think of that visually, right? All that fat melting off your body, but also your demons. What's driving you to not take it by the horn and jump on your personal life and become the best version of you? Is because it's hard, right? It's difficult. I'll leave you with this. The most difficult thing is not the act of doing it, although it could be, but it's doing it over and over again. It's the consistency. How consistently can you show up? That's difficult. So I challenge you to take that road. Till the next one, Mamba out.